Good evening, friends, and all the people gathered here and who's going to be watching us. I'm emotional because I'm here in Mangalore. I said my favorite city because city of my mother. She was born here and then moved to Mumbai. But we have got also, sir, from the Kasturi House from the Hindu newspaper with us, and it's going to be a chit chat
Yes.
and a tete-a-tete. But my initial days when starting off was I worked for a newspaper called Take Two.
I
It
didn't
didn't
hear that.
last too long, but it was launched in Nariman Point, and everyone knows Nariman Point is like the central business district of
Yes, Mumbai.
Mumbai,
Yes.
and at that time Bombay.
Yeah.
And we were given, huge heaps of this paper,
Hmm.
and as you know, papers are packed in 50 and 100 lots, and we have had to go around all the buildings in Nariman Point, starting from the top floor. And most buildings in Nariman Point are 20, 16, or 17 story and down.
Hmm.
Take the lift right till the top
Come
and
down.
go, and come down slowly, and that's it. Now, taking a paper which was not known, we were giving it free of cost, and but still people did not want to take it. But seeing two young boys, Patare Prabhu and myself, and seeing our innocence because we were hardly 16 or 17 years of age,
Hmm.
they would take the paper. But that really taught me my, marketing. It taught me how to talk to strange people, to get over shyness and fear. And one thing I learned from a company called JP Morgan, which is MNC and a big company today,
Yeah. Yeah.
at around 4 o'clock or 4:30, they would every day serve tea to whoever visited their office.
Hmm.
It could be the postman. That time we didn't have a Vichare courier or Maruti courier and give them. So we would make sure if we were in that building or around that area to reach the office between 4 to 4:30
Have your
to
chai.
just get that cup of tea and maybe sometimes some biscuits.
Very nice.
So just and many years later I asked the manager that why did you do that? They said, see, already our so many staff were getting the tea. Another five, seven, 8 cups would not make a difference. But he says because of that, of a goodwill gesture, never did our courier letters get lost or postal letters or go to the wrong place. Everyone
Very nice. Very nice.
remember JP Morgan and reached. So, simple innocence. I think the government of India is starting this NATS and all these different things of on the OJT, as they say, on the job training.
Yeah.
I think it's a wonderful exercise. Only 0.5% of the MSMEs are taking interns, apprentice. We have an apprentice act in our country,
Yes.
and we're not taking them seriously. And just this morning, when taking an early morning flight, I have written such a long WhatsApp and email to my secretary and said, send this to all the civil engineering colleges because one division of Lawrence and Mew deals with civil engineering instruments.
Hmm. Hmm.
And we are involved with the smart city projects.
Okay.
I said, 10,000 rupees we will pay, but we want interns to come and work. Because today when I put a ad on Naukri, on Times Job, on Apna app, if I get less talent, I am to blame. I take the responsibility because I have not sowed the seeds.
Yeah.
What do you feel, sir, about journalism and especially getting response talent for the Hindu newspaper and the Kasturi House?
So no, thank you. Good evening again to everyone who is watching this. Paulose is my friend,
Yes.
and I think he drags you into these conversations, and that's why I'm here. And
Right.
as I said, I was longing to meet you when I was in Bombay, and
Right.
LNM and Hindu have worked together for long in Bombay, and
I
coming
think
to
we are
Bangalore.
established very similar. You are 1878, I am 1877.
Yes,
So I
about a
remember
year.
that very well.
So both of us are close to 150 years. So
Yes,
maybe
that's
let's
right.
do that.
Right.
I mean, it's an interesting thing that what you started. I think what was natural earlier, which is the OJT that you talked about, I think that's what all of us grew with.
Yes.
Today, OJT is more becoming what do you call a thing of the past. People don't like to be trained. The
Right.
thing that I know it all is what is killing us today, in my view. But if you kind of coach them at the schools and the colleges, they will also go through similar experience that you and I went through. I mean, for
Right.
you, it's the top floor to the down floor. I think when I started, it was all the streets. I started with FMCG.
Right.
Now, those days, we were selling the accessories.
Okay.
I never knew there are so many things that go into making a shirt and a trouser. Yeah, so I think I used to sell zippers and the interlining which goes into the collar
Right.
and the
Right.
buttons that go there.
Right.
Very interesting trade. So we used to go around, meet tailors, right? Those are your consumers. Because you as a consumer will never know what thread has gone into your shirt. I
Right.
mean, like the conversation that we're having now,
Yes.
you would have never bothered what is the thread.
Yes.
You have never noticed.
True. True. True.
That's so true of us that we sometimes forget what we are soon with, right?
Absolutely.
So I think that's what taught us when we started walking the street. Highly, I think the OJT, when you train people on the ground,
Right.
they grow up in a very solid way. I mean, they don't uh, fear failure, right? Today, the biggest challenge is the fear of failure is so big pandemic that I
Yes.
don't want to try anything because I might fail,
True.
and I
True.
might fail because my image is down. People might disrespect me. Things that are, I would say, imaginative consequences.
Right. Just to give a quick retort to that, I've met a top businessman from Chennai who publicly has said that he failed in 9 businesses.
Yes.
And on the 10th one, he succeeded.
Yeah.
I thought that was really high. I met a gentleman in, not Surat, I think it was in Navsari or nearby. You won't believe it. On the record, he has tried 74 businesses, 74, and come back to real estate. And he had
No qualms.
being ashamed about it.
I think
at all.
you should never. I mean, this is where I even whenever I go to colleges, I say, please read Abdul Kalam.
Right,
He
right.
always talks about fail.
Yes.
Fail is FAIL.
Yes,
Is the first attempt in learning. The
absolutely.
moment you take that as the 74th company, you don't know which company you want to be successful. In sales, I always say that you got to do 19 calls to get that 20th successful call.
Absolutely.
The problem is we want every call to be the 20th without
Right.
the effort of the 19. That never happens.
True.
I think everything is slow, but slow is fast.
Right.
If that happens, I guess it's more for the joy of what you want to do
True,
and the
true.
passion with which you want to do. I think these are things that
I want to share 2 stories which come to my mind straight from the OGT or on the job training. One is about a company a very small company, I can't remember and quote it. It was an MNC trying to enter the Indian, you talked about thread on the shirt, trying to enter the very small, the cobbler market of putting the nails in the shoes. And they launched the product with great fanfare, everything, a trade show and everything like that. And the product was just not taking off. No sales at all. And the expat gentleman says, I don't want to wear a suit. I want to get me linen clothes or khadi and I'll roam the market. And that's what he did. And he visited cobbler after cobbler, big cobblers, small cobblers, hand manufacturing happening. And he stood once just about 4 or 5 feet away from a very small cobbler.
yeah, understanding your end consumer
Yes,
is
exactly.
very very important. Which I
And he
think is
noticed one thing. He says, while the person was doing that handmade shoe or repairing that shoe, he had 3 or 4 nails to put it. And because they would not run around, or maybe he had weak eyesight, he would store them in his mouth.
Huh.
And at the appropriate time,
He will take it
just
out.
drop it and hit it with
Yeah.
a hammer.
Yeah.
So, using that Indian manager's ability and capability, he said, sir, people in Maharashtra, I got a habit of having betel leaf and pan masala, especially betel leaf. If we coat our nails, which were getting imported, with a betel leaf sort of a coating, it will be highly appreciated. And they quoted it. This is a true story which Sunil Agarwal has shared with me, and that brand took off.
Very
So,
interesting, huh?
but a lot of global MNCs come in. They think it is a immediate success. India is
Nah.
145 crore
Right.
market and
And
big,
yeah.
so many million people, middle class, growing and things. It's a tough market to crack.
It's very difficult to understand the Indian consumer.
Yeah, I want to give you another example,
Huh.
right? It's from Samsonite, and since we are in a German home, I want to give you a German example, right? So again, the Samsonite CEO, he was a stickler. He used to have in all the international airports a cupboard where he would keep his suits because he was a bachelor and traveled. He was a global CEO. So he reached India and VIP and other brands doing extremely well. How does Samsonite really make the mark? He visited a lot of the markets, Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, Bangalore. And he realized that there are so many brands, generic brands and everything like that. Then he asked his Indian counterparts, take me to where the German companies are. And then you know the German famous cars, it's
Yes.
Mercedes Benz, BMW, Audi, and Skoda. These are all four German cars.
Yes.
So they landed up in I think it was the BMW or Mercedes Benz showroom. And he was walking around seeing such a well dressed expat and foreigner. So the person came, says, which car would you like? You want to go SUV, four door, two door, and all those things like that. And lapping up to the expat, ignoring the Indian, and as it usually happens.
Yes.
And the worldwide CEO of Samsonite says, can I see the boot of the car? He says, no, but everyone wants to see the engine first. Why do you want to see the boot? So he said, no, I want to see it. So then they open up the boot of the car and he asked him a simple question. He says, how many large bags will fit inside and how many small? He says, I have no idea. He says, that's the problem. You are trying to sell me a car which is 34 lakhs or 3 crores or 4 crores and you have no idea because I may get into the car but my driver chauffeur has to put the luggage in the car.
Yes.
So if you can't tell me he'll fit 2 big bags and 2 small bags, then why should I buy your car? There may be
There's a lesson for the marketer, right?
Exactly.
I think the what's my end case use?
Exactly.
Is my product fitting, not fitting? For which consumer am I doing? I think this understanding is very important. I think that's where the research plays a huge role. And these days, though, you conceptualize and you hit the road running. That's not going to
No, it doesn't work.
You have to understand who's your consumer, what his consumption needs, what does he want,
True.
where does your product fit. I remember in Levers, we used to walk into kitchens of people to understand. The first time I realized that there are more than 20 ways of making chai in this country. There are very many methods in which they used to make tea.
Right.
One puts water first, one puts milk first, one boils the tea separately. So that the only way that you could understand is actually walk into the kitchen and then don't tell them why you're there.
Right.
Just watch the house lady or the houseman make the chai and then see how they make it.
Right.
And that's when you come back and say, okay, this is what it is. And over a constant visit of these houses is where we've developed a concept called boil bags those days, which are the tea bags these days.
Right.
You put a boil bag in the water and then everything is measured.
Right.
You don't have to, the chai ka quantity is very different, right? I mean, Mumbai mein aapko kadak chahiye, to do daloge, you put 2, and then somebody puts 1.5. So how do I give my chai? Because your tea is made with a certain way. True. If you put 2 spoons,
yes,
it might not give you the same liquor. So you have to be conscious about that. So you design something where the quantity is fixed. So what you said is absolutely right. It is important for you to walk the street, meet the end consumer, see where your product is going.
Right.
I mean, for you, who's wearing your specs?
Yes.
Why is he wearing the specs? And for me, who's reading my paper? Who's reading my book? And why is he reading my book? And what is he reading? I think this is what is the lesson that I've learned in 34 years, and I'm sure you learned in the same time. So, yeah, good anecdotes. Yes.
Yes.
Nice.
What other stories come to your mind after seeing in the FMCG, in the telecom space?
No, I think more than stories, I think how you evolve as a person, right? I think what these industries teach you is when you join a certain space,
yes,
you think that's the space that you want to get to. And if you have limited exposure, you think you start doing it as a job.
Right.
Over a period of time, you realize that you can't do things as a job work.
Yes.
You got to make it your passion. Then you will not have problems like I'm overworked, I have no work-life balance and all that challenges won't come. I think that's what I have learned over the last so many years. Different industries. There's a common element. I think you sell. ultimately you have to sell.
Right.
Whether you sell a pin or a plane. I mean, in my case, I was selling zippers to chai, to phone, to air, to paper. I think it's all the as long as the commonality you understand
Right,
that
right.
the consumer is the king
True,
and he
true.
will decide what it is, and that'll keep you in the good state. I think that's been a learning, and as I said, the journey. I mean, like, how quickly are you able to adapt?
Right.
As I said, we were talking before this conversation about the whole Seligman story about how you uh, become learned. Helplessness is a problem that all of us have, right?
Right,
We
right.
have a challenge of believing that this is what I can do, this is what I can't do. So we get conditioned, which is why sometimes they say that the years pass off.
Yes.
Suddenly, 24 has happened and 26 has happened. You don't know what happened in 25.
Right, right,
That's
right.
because whenever you see that the time has passed, to me, I think what it has taught me is you have never stopped.
Right,
And when you stop only when there is novelty.
right,
When you're doing something new, that's when you stop. That's been my biggest learning.
right.
For example, if I'm meeting 10 Pauloses, after
Yes.
some time I think, yeah, it is the same story.
Right.
Suddenly, when I meet somebody else, I said, okay, my mind will start recognizing that, oh, this guy now is meeting somebody, let me register. So I think the activity that you go through
Right.
and the more novel things that you keep doing in your career is what keeps you afresh, and that's what
Right.
keeps you learning.
Right.
I think those have been one of those underlying learnings that you have while you progress from typically managing your day
Right.
to managing the days of people. Right. I think
Right, right.
that's where it goes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to sort of conclude and say, I think the Gen Z and Alpha and all the new generations which are coming are crazy about just Instagram reels and stuff like that. And what we are doing indirectly is, as marketers, both of us are marketeers, pushing the Google AdWord price higher and higher. Ultimately, the whole circle is going to come where you meet people.
Yes.
And I'm going to share a secret with you. And on an average, in 1 month, I meet between 900 to 1200 people,
Yes.
out of which 60% are brand new and 40% are commonality where I met them at some seminar or conference.
Right.
So that's the trick in marketing. So the old ways, the old charm of meeting people, influencing people, making establishing contacts will never go. And that's, I think, a message to your response team also.
Yeah, yeah. See, I think that I won't call it the old method. I think that's the right method.
Right.
Today, there's always been this thing of traditional old.
Yes.
I would refrain to call it traditional and old because that's the only way you can do it.
True.
I think people are not calling it out. We are hiding under old and traditional. I don't think we've got to be apologetic about old.
You're right.
If OJT is a mandatory thing, it has to be mandatory thing. Whether
Absolutely.
you're Gen Z is a classification that marketers have done for their convenience.
Right.
Now, to me, nobody called me what my generation was. I don't know. I
Right.
still get confused to go back and see what generation do I belong to. Am I a bloomer? Am I a baby? Am I X? Am I Y? I mean, I really don't care what I am, right?
Right.
I think this whole branding and the segmenting is a marketing witch that is, I
Right.
think, happened.
True. I agree
You
with
can't ignore the way it is being segmented. There are advantages, maybe. I think we are concluding a lot by prejudging this generation.
Right.
To me, I think if there is something best that has happened, it is the Gen Z that has happened.
Right.
They are straight to the point.
Yes.
They will not accept nonsense.
Yeah.
They have grown with technology. They're born in technology. They will ask you questions. You don't have answers.
Right.
If you don't have answers, you can't put a blame on them. I think that's the problem that we have. And today, I think the challenge is more to do with the parents of Gen Z
Right.
than the Gen Z themselves. So I guess we got to do more podcasts and more discussions to the parents.
Yes.
To tell them to accept that we have a new generation.
Yes.
Or a generation that is curious enough not to take any BS and then say, this is what I need. You tell them and they do it.
I think
and to your point of 900, 1200, I've been blessed being here. I also have maybe do a slightly same number or more number, and fortunately I made only Gen Z. And they teach me more than what I actually go and teach them. That's my concluding point on this.
I just want to conclude. I think the best person who has learned reverse mentoring is Anand Mahendra, who actually till 4-5 years ago did not know how to send a message on Twitter or X as we call it now. He caught one young boy in the executive canteen and he taught. So we all need to be reverse mentored and learn, and vice versa.
Yeah. Got to be lifelong learning is the mantra. There's nothing that can stop, or you can't avoid learning. That's it.
Lovely talking to you, sir, and hope to catch up for a coffee in
Mumbai.
Chennai.
In Mumbai and Chennai.
Okay.
I'll come to Mumbai from
Absolutely.
Chennai. Yeah, very nice. Thank you.